LASBRA off a team, but why was he on one in the first place? Weird energy. Not where it's coming from. Trust me, just stay for the whole video. Figured I'd start off with some clickbait. What's good? We're back. It's F dot, etc., etc., etc. Shout out to MetaThreads. Shout out to Into the AM. Use promo code F dot. Save 10%. Give me some money. That's how it works. Keep the lights on. LASBRA trying to keep the lights on, but right now without a job. And I started off the video saying, why was he on a team in the first place? But what I didn't include was the second part of that conversation in the mid lane. LASBRA playing for Trifecta in the mid lane. Bad decision making. So I don't fault LASBRA for saying yes to the deal. I think when you're looking at the Smite Pro League, visas, etc., it's smart to get your foot in the door. LASBRA's level of play is above and beyond things that we've seen. Last year, he was one of the fly-out rookies. Sam, Paul, LASBRA were the guys you were talking about when you guys were mentioning new Smite players. Oh shit, there's more people, there's new heads, big names, and they're coming from the bottom. LASBRA was the guy. He was performing in the jungle. He was really standing up for the team. He was making moves. He was the reason his squad at all was interesting to watch in Signum. He was the minor league call-up. I think he deserved a jungle spot. But obviously it didn't come, or he would be playing in the jungle. I don't think that LASBRA went out there and said, now that I've proven to everybody I'm a good jungler, I'm going to play in the mid lane. I don't think that was his decision. And if it was, well, homie made the wrong decision. But realistically, I think what happened was that all the good jungle spots were kind of taken, and he was offered a spot on Trifecta to play in the mid lane. And I think it's reasonable to expect somebody like LASBRA to be able to transition in the mid lane and create something great. But it didn't happen. And that's fine. You gave it a shot, buddy. Y'all tried. On LASBRA's side. But now you can kind of walk over places and say, hey, not only am I, here's my resume from last year in the jungle. I can show you that. Not only can you show you that, but also I've got a resume to live in America, or I've got a visa to live in America. And all of a sudden this becomes a little bit easier to understand. All of a sudden this becomes a little bit easier to deal with. All of a sudden this becomes a very attractive option for those that need a new jungler. Who ever might need a new jungler? Getting in the door and taking that offer was probably better than playing jungle in the minor league. Also, saying no to a pro league position is probably the most boneheaded thing you can do. Imagine making at least $30,000. Your organization is probably paying you more than that, plus ad revenue and Twitch money from being a pro leaguer, since that boosts your level of exposure. We laugh when people are paid exclusively in exposure, but exposure is a very real thing that you want to look for in this industry. Plus prize winnings and the fact that you don't pay rent. Also, you're building a resume. And that resume goes beyond Smite and beyond the gaming industry. And maybe that's a separate video, but LASBRA taking a position he's rarely, if ever, played to play in the pro league. No fault of that is on him, I think. I hold no ill will for him taking what I consider to be a bad deal. Because I assume that everyone he approached for a jungle position had already filled it or whatnot. I assume this man went out and looked for a jungle spot, couldn't find one, defaulted to a mid lane spot. And because of that assumption, I think LASBRA did everything he should have. If you can't get into the pro league for your main position and someone's interesting enough to try and put you in the mid lane, sure, man, take that shit. You're robbing them. Absolutely. Absolutely. On the other side, Trifecta, Trifecta shook. These guys made this decision. That's what was said to us before by Shook. And this isn't a personal vendetta. This doesn't mean like dunking on him for the sake of dunking on him. Shook and I are boys. I like Shook. But this was a dumb decision, and this was a mistake, I think, from the organizational level. I think that trying to put LASBRA in the mid lane, there were and are better options out there. They might be hard to find, but I mean, even people like Amuel, I think, might have been a better look. And Amuel is just the name that I toss out when I'm talking about good enough minor league players. There's probably somebody better than Amuel. There's probably somebody similar to Amuel. Amuel's just a name, You look at Europe. LASBRA came from Europe. There's a lot of things to really think about when it comes to who could have been in that mid lane spot. So I think this was just a mistake on Trifecta's part. There's another conversation there. That's Weekend and LASBRA on the same team. LASBRA should play the jungle, and Weekend should play the mid. And I want to shut that down right now because I think people are always looking for a reason to kind of call Weekend the villain. And this is not one of them. Weekend wants to make a 20-minute bash video that kind of sucks. You can do better on the roasts, buddy. But put a 15-minute ad for ball wax in the front. Go right ahead, homie. You want to make fun of him for that? Go right ahead. But don't make fun of him for sticking his ground. I think that this was Weekend saying, nah, man, this is my team. If you want LASBRA to come on here, he got to play around me. That's kind of the douchey look, but I think that's a totally reasonable thing to say. Also, shout out to Weekend Season 6. It's been looking better than any of his previous seasons. But also, I think there's a dose of reality there. Weekend saying, look, man, LASBRA, you might be a better jungler than me, but I can't fucking play mid. There's no way I can play mid. So please, this is the team, this is the roster that management has given us. You go play mid because you'll probably be better at it than I am. No hate on Weekend for that. No hate on LASBRA for that. I look at the organization. Whoever set up that LASBRA in the mid lane did LASBRA dirty unless LASBRA had another shot at jungle. If LASBRA could have been in the jungle anywhere, then the org did him dirty. If LASBRA had no shot of being in the jungle and mid for Trifecta is the only place that he would have gotten picked up, then the org did him a fucking solid. Welcome to the Pro League. You've got a visa for professional play, and you are on the shortest list possible for anybody that needs a replacement jungler. At all. At all. When you look at the teams in the Pro League, I don't exactly think you're getting rid of Cuvo Fred. Anderson or Adapting's probably not leaving either. Team Rival, Captain Twigs crushing it. United just picked up Scream. SK Gaming has Sam, not going nowhere. Renegades have Cherio, not going anywhere. Space Station Gaming have Sino, who's probably not going anywhere, just got there. We'll see how Andy does in mid. I don't think LASBRA's going to replace Andy in mid anytime soon, but that's interesting. Splice are exploding. Splice just got Scream. I said United got Scream. United have Ice Baby, who's actually, that's interesting. Splice just got Scream. Luminosity have the Mollusk. I am United. I am Luminosity. I am looking at LASBRA. These are the two teams that are immediately looking. Ice Baby is a giant question and conversation and probably not happening. Mollusk? If Mollusk played like he did in weeks 1 and 2, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But he's fallen off, unfortunately, and LASBRA, I think, could return to the jungle. And LG would be the place to go. Like I said, if I'm LG, I'm actively looking for a jungler. No other team is actively looking for a jungler. I don't think United is looking for a jungler, but if they see that LASBRA is on the table. They might start having a conversation. But if I'm LG, I'm actively looking for a jungler, and I've already made my phone call to LASBRA. Again, I don't think that what we've seen in Season 6 is a good representation of LASBRA's sophomore season or his introduction into the Pro League. I think of LASBRA as a jungler, and I think his shot in the minor league just wasn't, or I think his shot in the mid lane just isn't representative of who he is. Best of luck to him. We'll find out where he goes. Whoever put him in the mid lane was not the right idea. And I guess last little bit, I see that Maswal is the mid laner for Trifecta. He's the footnote here. Cool. You got yourself a real mid laner. This is interesting because 12 weeks into the season, Trifecta will have a real team. I don't think LASBRA in the mid lane is representative of a real team. No disrespect to LASBRA at all. It's just not what he's... It's not what he's built for. Good luck to LASBRA. We'll see how it works out. Maswal in that mid lane, here's that footnote. He's good enough. He's good enough. He's a world champion mid laner. He filled the spot for Splice when Splice needed and won the game. Trifecta absolutely could use that. Maswal's not going to be... You're not adding a world champion like you would expect. And that's not a phrase that sounds like a slight and probably sort of is. What I'm getting at, he's not a leader. He's not a vocal guy. You're getting a world champion. He knows what it takes to win. He's been there and all of those superlatives, but you're not adding to the squad with respects to him being able to like teach them or veteran down. Like there's no trickle down there, but who cares? You got a weekend for that, I guess. So I love this. Sure. Fine. Maswal mid, good for him. LASBRA, go find a team. Probably LG, maybe United if you're lucky. I don't know how happy LASBRA will be on LG, but at least he's playing in the Pro League. Trifecta made a goof when they put LASBRA in the mid lane. Maswal's a better look. We'll see how this team looks. I honestly don't know how Trifecta will be with Maswal. Like, I don't know if we're going to see a bottom team anymore. Maybe they're a middle pack team. Maybe they're not. But again, LASBRA, go find a team in your real position. It sucks. Good luck. Peace.